Conan Exiles looks to be coming out of, from what I've seen, one of its worst periods in the game's long history. The staggered release of Isle of Siptar, along with the delays caused by global lockdowns, seem to have caused Conan Exiles to feel like a game where we're being slowly drip-fed small amounts of content. In a market where games like Rust and Ark are thriving, Conan seems to be struggling. Ark and Rust both sit on fairly healthy daily peaks of 54k and 97k respectively at the time of writing, yet Conan is only pulling around 13,000 players daily. This doesn't account for consoles of course, but if that trend is anything to go by, Ark is probably quite high above Conan, and Rust probably will be too. So, with probably the most difficult period of its lifespan hopefully behind it, what can Funcom do to ensure that Conan can reach the success it deserves? What is next for Conan Exiles? Something that always makes for a good foundation of a game is community communication. If you own Ark on Steam, you'll be familiar with Community Crunch, where the Ark dev team basically run down a few different things and look at community contributions to the game. This week's Community Crunch includes high-res backgrounds promoting the next DLC, information on the EVO event, and a community corner, which includes content creators, artists, and even just screenshots of the game from Discord and Twitter users. Funcom aren't strangers to highlighting community creations. They've done it before and even ran community building competitions, so more of that is much appreciated. They've been doing it again recently, but again, more is always better. The main issue here is really communication in general. From January 19th to February 18th, there was effectively radio silence on the Steam updates section, aside from a small announcement regarding profile avatars for Steam. Whilst I have faith that Funcom would have liked to offer more during this time, that sort of silence does nothing for the people who are enjoying playing the game. Regular communication with the community is essential, even if it's just highlighting community contributions, offering a few wallpapers, etc. You don't need to be dropping fresh content every week to keep people engaged, but letting your players know what to expect in the future always helps to build that extra little bit of excitement and player retention for the next update. Funcom already seem to be making steps towards this. From April 6th to now, there have been 7 news posts including update notes, announcement recaps, community shoutouts, and direct communication from the devs to the players. This is exactly what Conan needs to keep a good momentum, and hopefully it does continue. Cultivating a healthy community relationship is one of the hardest things to do, especially in the survival genre. There's no set blueprint for it. Survival games are, let's be honest, known for being kinda toxic. I have all too much experience in that from my days playing Ark official servers. However, toxic players don't make up 100% of the community. On the other side of games like Ark, Conan, Rust, you have friendly, rule-based community servers, roleplay servers, modders, artists, designers, content creators, and more. Highlighting those elements for Conan can help to make individual players feel a bit more involved in the community, and help those who are maybe getting a bit fed up with the usual gameplay loop of official servers to find alternative ways to enjoy the game. One thing I've mentioned quite a few times now is mod integration into the base game. Ark has done this a couple of times with community-made mods, namely Structures Plus and Prim Plus, and a few times to fairly good success with community-made maps. Some mods would work perfectly with Conan, especially over on console. A few that jump to mind are Less Building Placement Restrictions, Crafty Counters, Dude's Delightful Decorations, Age of Calamitous, Pippi, Emberlight, and there are plenty more that I know the folks over on console would love to have access to. Yes, Funcom would have to probably compensate the modders financially for including their mods into the base game, but in the pursuit of making Conan a better game overall, I think it's worth it. There is plenty more you can do, with community competitions for boss designs, landscape designs, new community-made maps, even soundtracks. If it wasn't for the community, Conan Exiles would never have made it out of early access and made it as far as it is now. So giving back to the community and giving them the opportunity to influence the game and enjoy it in new ways is a great way to thank the community. Most PC players are on the bandwagon of PC being better than console in pretty much every respect, and whilst I would agree for most of those points, I think people do underestimate the console player base. There is a lot of interesting stuff out there. When I was looking to move away from Ark official servers onto community servers, I found really good Ark community servers with their own rule set, factions, all that sort of stuff. It was basically what you'd expect to find on a PC roleplay server, On PS4, they'd done it all with the base game, and this isn't an uncommon thing. Console players are just as creative as PC players, and by integrating even a few of the good mods into the base game, Conan Exiles on console could very easily flourish. Isle of Siptah was announced back in September 2020, and on May 27th this year it'll be finally releasing to console. The content drought has been pretty rough on the PC side, and I imagine it's only been worse on the console side. Whilst PC is capable of receiving updates and hotfixes faster, along with obviously supporting the vast modding community, you can't leave console players to flounder and expect things to be fine. Realistically, Isle of Siptah probably won't make up for the lack of content the game has experienced, and it's unlikely to bring players back that left due to the frustration caused by the content drought. Therefore, I think Funcom really need to push out new things to keep momentum for people still playing Conan, hopefully bring back those that have left, and most importantly, entice new players. The best way to do this is probably a roadmap. When the Year 2 Season Pass roadmap was available, it made clear that we would receive DLC at regular intervals, and it helped to create a nice ebb and flow of content, so whilst more content would be good, having that structure is just as important. Personally, I'd like to see a healthy mix of DLC, free content updates and community-driven content that I mentioned earlier, like official map or mod integrations. There are so many more architectural styles to visit within Conan that haven't already been done, and I'm sure the dev team would do a great job with them for the DLCs. Then again, you don't just have to stick to the usual format of the DLCs. I'm sure the PvP or the PvE crowd wouldn't mind if you dropped a DLC that focused mainly on them, just as Debaucheries of Decketo tried to focus on the role players. Whilst I do love that sort of new excitement when a DLC drops, every DLC drop that I've been around for, they've been pretty formulaic. You kind of know what to expect with Funcom's DLCs, and there's nothing wrong with changing it up and introducing new things to DLCs. As for maps and mods, these are a little bit harder, seeing as I said earlier, you'd have to pay the mod creators, but with mods like the ones I mentioned earlier, and maps like Savage Wilds, integrating them officially is a no-brainer in my opinion, and it's a great way to offer new and exciting content to players on all platforms. Personally, I think Conan could evolve to become a great game that offers something to a huge variety of players. Really hard, high-level endgame dungeons would be a great addition. I'm talking like raid-level content that offers a huge challenge for a suitably huge reward. For many players, the endgame of official servers is high-level PvP, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Conan has many options that are just waiting to be explored. As someone who only really builds on Conan, this isn't my area of expertise, but I'm aware that issues exist within this area that really impact on gameplay, and they're issues I'm not really looking forward to running into once I get into my first survival playthrough when we hit 10k subs. Over on the Xbox side, people reported severe issues with even running the game, including crashing and rubber banding, two of the most impactful issues that can face a game. Constant rubber banding and crashing only causes one thing, and that is a prompt hit of the uninstall button. It is de facto one of the easiest ways to drive players away. I can't find for certain whether this issue has been rectified or not, but all I know is it took too long to address. Critical issues like this need to be addressed and rectified immediately, and the community need to be told that they're being addressed. Gamers aren't known for being the most forgiving folk, let's be honest, but when you handle issues quickly and give the community the information they need about it, the vast majority will be pretty understanding. There are also numerous bugs and mechanical issues that can really affect the game adversely. Client and server can fall out of sync, building blocks aren't registered properly on the client side, incorrect shelter calculations, bad PvE health balancing, huge ping spikes, etc. Dealing with bugs and major imbalances like this should be a top priority, as they're the issues that most quickly disenfranchise the player base, and they are issues that a lot of people will see, probably daily depending on how much they play the game. Players are happy to wait for new content if they enjoy what the game already offers, but when you have glaring issues that affect the core elements of the game's combat, building and general gameplay loop, not addressing them quickly is one of the quickest ways to get your most dedicated players to criticise the game. Alongside the glaring issues on Xbox and any future issues like that, there are plenty of smaller complaints or things that could be adjusted. More enemy spawns and wandering enemies, graphical and system optimizations to make the game run better, PvP rebalances and various other small things that could help to shape the game up and keep it fresh. I mean, why not go the Ark and Rust route of having servers that play by specific rules? Ark has servers that are wiped around once a month and they're restricted to certain weapons and building pieces. There are also small tribe servers and plenty of other things. There are tons of options here. I think Funcom really just need to have a bit of fun and realise all the options they have with Conan. Robert E. Howard created a franchise rich with lore, and with the influence from other writers like Lovecraft, the possibilities are honestly endless. Ark started off as a dinosaur-era survival game, and has now mixed in elements of modern civilization, futurism, space travel and more. And whilst I don't think Conan needs exactly that, there are numerous ways the game could be spiced up. Special servers, holiday events, rebalancing, seasonal servers, world events that change the map. You could really do anything with Conan. Imagine just playing on the exiled lands, doing your usual stuff when the volcano explodes, surfacing a massive landmass to the east, connecting all of those small islands together. How about a particularly vicious sandstorm that introduces a new boss to the map? Seasonal PvE servers guided by NPC-driven stories, where once a month factions must fight for control of resource hotspots. There's so much that could be done to help Conan succeed. I think Funcom are just a bit too formulaic and a bit samey in how they approach certain things, and it is easy to fall into those patterns as a developer, as a player, pretty much as anything. I think Funcom just need to kind of look outside their own box and realise the huge potential they have with Conan Exiles. Funcom have been fairly quiet for a while, and Conan has suffered because of it. However, judging by the recent updates, it seems Funcom are gaining some momentum and realising that Conan could be just as, if not more successful than its competition. I very much doubt anyone at Funcom will watch this video, but hopefully they'll continue to push content, bring new players in, and make Conan a much better game. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and let me know what builds you want to see in the comments below. As usual, anything is welcome. There are new videos coming at least twice a week, so do feel free to subscribe. Only 20% of my viewers are actually subscribed to the channel, so if you're new here and you've enjoyed this video, or you've seen a few of my videos before, hit the big red button to join the coffee cult. There are plenty more videos coming for you to enjoy. As usual, the links to my Twitch, Patreon and Discord are in the description. You can get 66% off a 2-year deal with NordVPN plus a month free when you visit nordvpn.org/earedyt or use code earedyt at checkout. I use Nord a lot to watch region-locked content, but I would personally recommend it to anyone that values their privacy online. Purchasing NordVPN through my link goes a long way to help me and the channel out, and you also get access to the best rated VPN service on the market, so I'd recommend at least taking a look if you are interested. Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you are not 100% satisfied with the service, you can get your money back quickly and easily. The links to get that discount are down in the description below, or you can just enter code earedyt at checkout. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can become an esteemed cultist on Patreon, where you'll get access to exclusive Discord roles, sneak peeks of new videos, and your name at the end of every video. On that note, a thanks to our patrons Sammy, Sadialot, Randar, Connor, Blue Ivy, Velma, Shannara, Torn, and Eagle Rose. Again, thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.